My friends, what the Iranian military high command considered its impenetrable shield in the Strait of Hormuz was reduced to a cemetery of twisted metal and ashes in exactly 90 minutes. 90 minutes, the exact length of a soccer match. And that was all it took for the United States Central Command, CENTCOM, to obliterate the illusion of sovereignty of one of the most hostile regimes on the planet, throwing open the doors to a new phase of the global war. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the feared IRGC, probably only became aware of the magnitude of these explosions when the videos started leaking on Telegram. They had no idea what hit them. And what hit them wasn't just an airstrike. It was the pure, cold, and calculated application of overwhelming force designed to send a single message. The rules of the game have changed. To understand the gravity of what happened on the morning of July 15, 2012, you need to look at the map. Greater Tom Island is not just a piece of rock and sand in the ocean. It lies at the western entrance of the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most well-defended and vital maritime choke points on Earth. Iran has turned this island into a floating fortress, an advanced operations base packed with cruise missile depots and coastal defense systems filled with Russian and Chinese technology. Tehran's logic was simple. Whoever controls the island controls the flow of oil in the world. They built what they believed to be a bunker made of lead. But the Americans just proved that they were living in what I call the glass vault syndrome. Yes, my friends, the glass vault syndrome. Keep this metaphor in your head. You can see the world out there. You think you're protected by the armor, but all it takes is there's a single surgical pressure point that can make the entire structure shatter over your head. And the way the United States shattered that glass vault is a masterclass in military might and the engineering of annihilation. And before you see the size of this hole, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and like the video because it takes a lot of work to make it. My friends, attacks of this magnitude don't start with explosions. They start with accidents. Before any bomb was dropped, the airspace was flooded with E-2 Hawkeye intelligence aircraft operating from aircraft carriers. They are the eyes of God on the battlefield, painting a crystal clear picture of every enemy movement. At the same time, the EA-18 Growler electronic warfare jets come into play. Their function is not to destroy physically, but digitally. Imagine the panic in the Revolutionary Guard's command room. According to reports, the radar screen showed clear skies and suddenly massive interference floods the systems. Everything turns to static. The radio silence turns into deafening static. Iran was completely blinded inside its own home. It's at this exact moment of digital darkness that the real hunt begins. And it's led by men and women whose psychology defies human understanding. The pilots of the F-15 CJ fighters known as Wild Weasels. Their mission is the suppression of enemy air defenses. And what does that mean in practice? Well, my friends, it means that these pilots deliberately enter the kill zone of Iranian missiles. They act as live human bait. It's a duel of nerves. It's an electromagnetic Russian roulette at over 1,000 kilometers per hour. The Wild Weasel's pilot flies knowing he's being hunted. He operates, feels the G-force crushing his chest while sweat runs down under his visor. He needs the Iranian radar operator on the ground to make the fatal mistake of turning on his system to try to lock onto him. And in the millisecond that the Iranian radar lights up and looks at the American fighter, he signs his own death certificate. The F-16 CJ fires the AGM-88 HARM missile. It's an anti-radiation weapon that no longer needs the fighter jet. It tracks the source of the enemy signal, goes around a mountain, and boom, blows everything up. The Iranian operator presses the scan button thinking they've found the target and gets a supersonic warhead coming down the radar beam straight into their lap in return. And even if he turns off the system in desperation, it's already too late. The missile has memorized the coordinates. The air defense wasn't just destroyed, it was humiliated. And with the radars in flames and Iran completely blind, the door was broken down. And what came through that door was the apocalypse forged in steel. Is the F-15 a Strike Eagle? Yes, my friends, and don't make the rookie mistake of calling the Strike Eagle just a simple plane. It's a 36-ton predator of metal and fury that ignores the laws of physics. We're talking about a machine that tears through the skies at an incredible 2,400 kilometers per hour, carrying more than 3,600 kilograms of weaponry. It's a flying truck of mass destruction at Mach 2. And when these monsters arrived over Great Town Island, they didn't drop grenades. They dropped the bunk busters, impressive 2,260 kilo deep penetration bombs. The physics behind this weapon will melt your brain. The bomb is dropped from the stratosphere, gaining absurd kinetic energy. It doesn't explode on contact with the ground. The hardened steel casing pierces through meters and meters of reinforced concrete, earth, and rock. And during this underground dive, a smart delay fuse counts the milliseconds. And when the bomb finally reaches the heart of the underground facility, it detonates. The shockwave doesn't dissipate in the air. It is contained by the concrete itself, multiplying the thermobaric pressure to unimaginable levels. The oxygen is incinerated. The seismic wave shatters the Iranian cruise missiles even before the fire reaches them. What the Revolutionary Guard spent years building underground turned to dust in a fraction of a second. But the United States didn't stop there. This operation marked the baptism by fire of a new era of automated warfare. The fighter jets were escorted by Lucas one-way attack drones. Forget the drones, you know. These small lethal machines are operated by AI brains. They fly in swarms, communicating with each other at fiber optic speed with no human intervention. If dozens of them are launched against a coastal battery, they autonomously calculate angles, speed, and weaknesses. They form a lethal cloud that overwhelms any defensive capability. It's the algorithm pulling the trigger, taking the gloves off against extremism. And if you think that seeing depots exploding on an island is the end of the story, you absolutely haven't understood anything about what US Central Command just signaled to the world. This goes much deeper than that. Greater Toom Island was just the calling card. Last night, Donald Trump went on television and drew the real map of terror for the entire leadership. He didn't talk about trenches or isolated military bases. He said word for word, put it here, production.
Boy, and next week is going to be really bad for them because next week they're coming for the power plants. Next week comes the bridges. We're going to knock out all their power plants. We're going to knock out all their bridges unless they get to the table and they go.
Pay close attention to the choice of these targets. When you cut off a country's power and destroy its bridges, you're not just winning a tactical battle, you're executing the guillotine effect. Without electricity, the centrifuges that enrich uranium for the Iranian nuclear program stop spinning. The high command's communications collapse. Hospitals go dark. Without bridges, military logistics are strangled. An army that doesn't move doesn't fight. The supply of food to the cities stops. And in 24 hours, you push a modern society back to the Stone Age. Trump also pointed American satellites at Mount Piccax, a grim underground complex suspected of housing the core of Iran's nuclear program. The message was clear. We know where you're hiding, and our bombs don't ask for permission to come in. But why did the most lethal military force on the planet decide to reimpose an absolute naval blockade and bomb Iran for 5 consecutive nights? What triggered this proportional fury? The answer lies in the arrogance and tragic miscalculation of the Revolutionary Guard. In recent days, Iran attacked 7 commercial merchant ships, 7 ships in a single week, nearly a dozen civilian sailors. Family men who were transporting cargo along the backbone of the global economy were killed, seriously injured, or simply disappeared at sea. Iran, in a disturbing display of cynicism, called this maritime law enforcement, saying it was just helping ships cross the strait at gunpoint. And every commercial ship that is stopped is not just a piece of floating steel. It's an artery in the global supply chain being severed. And when the Strait of Hormuz bleeds, energy prices soar in New York, London, São Paulo. Yes, my friends, inflation crushes Europe and industry in Asia panics. The United States took on the role of the world's bouncer and stood at the club door with their arms crossed. Not on my watch. The American Navy deployed more than 20 destroyers and 2 aircraft carrier battle groups to the region. Iran thought it would control the Strait of Hormuz. And what they got in return was a very expensive receipt branded with fire. And yet, in an almost psychotic way, the entire leadership keeps running its internal propaganda machine, claiming that they are winning the war, that they shot down F-35 fighters without showing a single piece of twisted metal as proof, and that their navy remains intact. Negotiating with bands of lunatics from Iran right now is like trying to reason with someone who is in a deep delirium, watching their own fleet sink while applauding. And that's exactly why the media establishment goes into panic and tries to hide the real machinery behind the geopolitical chessboard from you. They would rather have you believe that everything is resolved with parlor diplomacy, while the world map is being redrawn with precision bombings. We do not allow reality to be sugar-coated. And it is because of this relentless pursuit of raw truth that our community of elite analysts has become the most lethal force on the Brazilian internet. Right now, I am competing for this year's award in the political influencer category. It's an honor, and I want and need to show the system the gravitational pull of our community, and this isn't just about an award. It's a demonstration of strength against prepackaged narratives. I'm asking for your vote now, and it takes less than 30 seconds. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Show them that our elite doesn't just watch history, we decode it. And history is accelerating on multiple fronts at the same time. And we started this journey in the 44th place, moved up to 5th, and we're in 1st place in the latest voting over the past 24 hours. Now, it totally depends on the vote of this powerful community for us to secure the definitive 1st place in the ranking and move on to the next stage. The top 20 most influential in Brazil. I'm counting on each of you. History is accelerating on multiple fronts at the same time. And while Iran burns in the Middle East, you need to look to Eastern Europe to understand what's coming. The Ukrainian commander, Robert Maidar, head of the Unmanned Systems Forces, has just announced the completion of one of the most devastating maritime campaigns of modern warfare, Operation Molosha. In just 10 days, 136 Russian vessels, including large oil tankers and gas carriers, were hit in the Sea of Azov. Maidar stated that the first round of naval combat is complete, signaling that the target is now the Black Sea Fleet. What Ukraine is doing to Russia through naval drones is a mirror image of the tactical nightmare that awaits Iran's coastal forces. The difference is that Ukraine operates with limited resources. The United States operates with an industrial capacity designed for continuous annihilation. And this is where we get to the masterstroke, the 4-dimensional chess game that the headlines completely ignore. The breaking point of this war was not a bomb. It was a single word spoken by Admiral Brad Cooper, commander of the U.S. Fifth Fleet. In a public and official statement detailing the Iranian attacks on civilian sailors, Cooper stated that Iran acted intentionally. Pay attention, because this is elite analysis. When a 4-star American military commander uses the word intentionally in an official record about attacks on non-combatant civilians, he's not doing journalism. He is building an international legal architecture for total war. Did you get that? He is setting it in stone of international law that Iran committed acts of deliberate terrorism. And that's not commentary. It's a diplomatic green light to destroy power plants, annihilate bridges, and reduce the Iranian Straits infrastructure to ashes, with the silent approval of all the trading nations of the world. And did you notice the detail that after the NATO summit, the noose tightened around Iran and we no longer have Europe's criticism of Donald Trump for attacking the Ayatollahs? The noose is tightening. Iran forced their hand and the United States decided there will be no more proportional responses. There will be amputation, and so that we can gauge the level of alertness of our elite community regarding the fragility of dictatorial regimes that try to bluff against the West, I want you to go to the comments now and type these 2 keywords: They refer to the final verdict on the illusion of power held by Tehran and the axis of dictatorships. Glass vault, type that. Let it be recorded that we understood their true fragility before the final collapse. I repeat. Glass vault in the comments now. Let's jam the system. The truth at ICRU is that, just as the United States used a surgical strategy to shatter Iran's illusion of power, the market punishes those who don't understand how information dominates minds. Those who don't control their narrative are crushed. Today, the world's most valuable currency isn't the oil passing through the Strait of Hormuz, it's attention. And for you, entrepreneur who follows me every day and is my friend, the greatest pain is being the best at what you do and not being seen. You have an amazing business, but you feel like the algorithm only favors the mediocre people on the internet, while those who produce serious content and have real knowledge disappear. I used to think that way too. 15 years ago, when I started in radio and TV, I understood that building authority requires strategy. Today, anyone who wants to be recognized needs to understand that the game has changed. Every business is a media business. Look at Havan stores, run by the old man from Havan. Luciano Rang put himself out there, and today everyone knows who he is and who he leads. Look at CIMED, a pharmaceutical company that became a content machine and also tripled its sales and broke out of its niche. Your identity can't be outsourced. The owner needs to put himself out there and guide the company's vision. But the days of recording any old way with a shaky phone and thinking you'll make sales are over, and get that into your head. The digital space demands military-level professionalism. And if you want to gain absolute authority, attract elite clients, and have a business monetized in dollars like I did, using the exact method that gets me over 50 million views per month, you need to take action. And on August 16th, I will hold an immersion, the second in-person immersion here in my studio with my team. I will personally guide you hands-on, step-by-step, how to build your authority, how to make your business stand out relentlessly through you. But I'm strict. I only have 10 spots. Why? Because the immersion is intensive and the content is practical. It's about listening and putting it into practice right away. When the 10th spot is filled, the steel door closes. The QR code for you to break out of your niche is on the screen now. The secure link is in the description and in the first pinned comment. Secure your spot and bulletproof your communication with Shimon Oliveira. And I have a wonderful series to recommend for you who like war, who are interested in the intelligence services of the United States and Israel, over on our series and movies channel, with strategic tips so you don't waste any more time looking for something good to watch only for it to turn out to be a total piece of crap in the end. I solved your problem. The link is in the description, in the pinned comment, and in the card that will appear on your video. I'll see you there. Now subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and leave a like on the video. Because it takes a lot of work to do this, my friends. Recording this and reaching beyond the bubble on YouTube is hard work. But I made it. And today I'm right there in your home. Shield your mind. I'm Shimon Oliveira, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.